and people who we have met along the way and stated we're going to fulfill the promises I made on the campaign trail. We pointed out our commitment in a blueprint for New York City's economic recovery, and breaking ground on this space here is the continuation of that blueprint. And this is the first project of our CARE strategy. CARE standing for, it's an acronym for City Agencies Revitalizing the Economy. And we're going to be deploying this approach throughout the entire city. We're going to go to places like the Bronx, Queens, and ensure that we utilize government resources to uplift entire communities. And it's not just an office building. It's so much more than that. It is the city staff, people who come to the location, all of the employees, they're going into the local restaurant, the local bodegas, the local stores, and they're helping boost the entire economy. And you can look at this location. Broadway Junction is a transit center. And it has been underutilized for so long. It allows New Yorkers to come to a central location. If it means taking the A train, the J train, the L train, and the multiple number of buses, and it's a safe place. Right at the foot of Broadway Junction is District 33, which is the transit district, and it plays the level of safety that we need. It has been underserved for far too long. Today, we change that. We start not only to put a shovel in the ground, but we start the opportunities of investing in a community that has been long overlooked. We're kickstarting the economic growth in this area right here in Brooklyn. City government is leading the way. How many jobs? 1,000 jobs. 1,000 jobs with 1,000 opportunities to really feed into the economic growth of the city. Hold on, this may be the president, and I don't want to miss it. It's the days of cell phones. Lose your life. 1,000 people will be buying coffee, buying sodas, buying vegan sandwiches, and all other healthy things they have in their community. So there's some great possibilities here, and we're shifting the city space closer to communities so they can have access to the communities and services that they need right in their neighborhood, giving New Yorkers greater access to city resources, agencies, and people, and making cost efficiency by moving our offices from expensive spaces in Manhattan and other locations so that we can bring in businesses which we are going to attract to our city, to have those more costly spaces, but making the best out of taxpayers' dollars. And so a few weeks ago, when I outlined my blueprint for economic recovery, I spoke of going back to the way things were before, but we're not going back where we're ignoring those who were impacted greatly by the pandemic. We're building a more inclusive economy that works for all New Yorkers. This is about reimagining our communities and giving the hope and opportunity by doing so. We know, and clearly you know, New York is the economic engine of the nation. The way goes New York, goes America. If we get it right here, America will get it right. And I want us to set the standard across the entire country and show the rest of the country how you do inclusive development. And so I'm excited about this project. I'm excited about putting the shovel in the ground and returning to the commitment that I made to this community and the leaders of the community. We can do this in partnership as we finally reach towards East New York, South Bronx, South Jamaica, Queens, Rockaways, all of these communities that have watched the buildings go up, but their hopes and opportunities were going down. We're moving in the right direction, and thank everyone who's a part of this initiative. All of you who are sitting here, this is your victory, as much as it is the victory of this administration. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. You want to speak? Okay. We'll open a few questions.
We're going to start with on-topic questions, and folks have on-topic questions. Yeah, Johnny, you go ahead.
Given the continued presence of remote work and, lots of office space that's still empty, people have to come back, does growing commercial space still, necessarily translate to new jobs today?
You said growing office?
Expanding commercial space still translates to jobs given remote work?
Well, this space that we're building here, we're going to move city agencies here, you know, DSS. They're going to relocate here. So that translates into jobs. People are coming here to this community. Not only are we going to allow those city employees to spend money here, but those city employees also are going to give the accessibility to those who need the services. If you were to do a GIS mapping, many of the people in this community, they are looking for the services that are now going to be local. That's a huge change from having people go downtown. We're going to have the services where people need them.
Other on topics, Emily?
Mayor Adams and Mr. Wilkins, can you detail more how you'll stop the displacement of Black and brown New Yorkers? That's very specific that's a priority of yours.
Well, number one, by having our local businesses. You know, our local businesses are going to be here. We're going to continue to make sure that we develop here in housing. We're going to partner with the council person, the assembly person, the state senator in this area to hear their plan about how we want to do affordable housing in this area. And we're going to go after those who harass tenants and displace them. We had a case yesterday that I received a call day before yesterday at 2 a.m. in the morning where a landlord illegally evicted a tenant. Our police department is going to go seek out that landlord and take the necessary action. So we must protect tenants where they are, make sure they have access to fair proceedings in court, and make sure we build at an affordable rate, and we're going to need the partners of our local electeds to do that.
On topics, Andrew?
Mayor, do you anticipate that the 1,100 people that you're moving, most of whom are going to downtown Brooklyn offices right now, will be excited about transit out to East New York, or do you anticipate you might get some pushback on this?
They're going to be excited. Who doesn't want to come to East New York? Everybody loves East New York. They're going to be excited to do so. And what's interesting, many of them live in East New York. Many of them live in areas where they're commuting 2 hours to get to their place of employment. So when we talk about live, work communities, we're not only talking about affluent communities. We need to have that live, work community throughout the entire city. And so I love coming to East New York. I think everybody would love that.
Thank you. You mentioned 1,000 jobs that are going to be created from this. Just a point of clarification, are you saying that 1,000 new jobs are going to be created, or it's just office jobs at other city agencies that are not going to come here? On that same point, if it is new jobs, is there any guardrails in place to make sure that those jobs go to members of the actual local community?
You want to answer that, Andrew?
Yeah, the exciting thing about this program, again, not just here, but we'll be rolling it out in other communities, is that the city agency provides the anchor tenancy, which provides the economics for a building to go up. In each one of those buildings, there'll be a significant amount of additional space. In this project, it's about 80,000 square feet of space that will go to other tenancies. So the council member talked about how she was looking for affordable space in the neighborhood. Could be here if it was up and open. Could be for other local small businesses. Part of the key undertakings that EDC will have here is working with the folks on the ground, like Bill Wilkins, to make sure that local businesses know of the opportunity and have access to it going forward. So there'll be 1,000 jobs coming here from the city agency. Some of those folks already live locally, some don't. They'll be coming from other communities, but then there'll be other businesses here that will create hundreds of additional jobs on top of that. We hope many of those locally as well, and again, we'll be working with our partners on the ground.
You have an on-topic, right? Okay, go ahead.
I guess Andrew will be able to answer this. Can you run through the taxpayer...
It's a little hard to hear you.
Sorry about
That's
that.
all good, all good.
Can you run through the taxpayer subsidies that are involved in this program?
Zero.
Any last on topics? Steve, you got one?
Yeah, before you arrived, Councilmember Nurse had some fairly strong words about how the city needs to help avoid speculation, avoid displacement. I wonder if Councilmember Nurse, you can expand on what you'd like to see from the administration, and Mayor, if you could respond to what you'd like to see.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Hello. So yeah, what I was saying is there's a lot of pressure already existing on here, speculative pressure. A lot of buildings right now are being sold. A lot of homeowners are selling. As I mentioned, there's a bunch right here and right here along Herkimer. So what I would like to see is a real dollar investment in how we're going to support tenants and small homeowners, whether it's through foreclosure prevention, whether it's through getting their buildings up to code, whether it's through supporting our aging population, our aging homeowners who are mostly over here. We just had a case just recently over here of elder abuse in an illegal SRO right here on Hull Street. So there's a lot of need, and we don't have as much money behind it. I would like to see in our city council budget that gets passed in June a more significant investment in housing, displacement prevention, and capital money for building affordable housing and at the bands that we need, 30, 40% here. This is what we need here in East New York. And this building is going to put a lot of pressure. There's over 1,000 people here. It's going to put a lot of pressure on this area. A potential redevelopment of Broadway Junction is going to put a lot of pressure on this area. So if that is what the city is prioritizing, I'm saying I would like to work with the mayor. I'd like to work with all the partners here to ensure that the people who are here, the small businesses who are here, are protected. And there's a dollar amount supporting that statement. So thank you.
I agree. Next.
All right, so we'll clear folks out and we'll take some off topics.
Okay, what we doing is shoveling stuff.
We'll take off topic. We'll
Okay,
have folks
so why don't y'all, you
guys
go
walk
into the
right over
tent,
there,
on the tent.
We'll do this quickly and then we will do our photo.
Come and do a couple of off topic.
So we got Greg.
So, Mayor Adams, I just want to ask you about the program that the prior administration put in place during the pandemic to move Rikers and State Prison inmates who were being released into hotels. And what happened this either Monday or Friday, you got a letter from a number of Queens elected officials who are concerned about why is this program continuing when prior administration told them that this was going to be a COVID-related program. It no longer is. So can you just address their concerns?
Okay.
And tell me, is there an end game here?
Yes, there is. First of all, I don't know who thought COVID was over, but it's not, because you just had on a mask, so it's obvious you know it's still here. This is a
Let him answer the question.
Your contract was before, the prior contract was specifically COVID-related emergency. This contract that you are proposing right now is non-COVID.
Again, COVID is still here, and the team did not want a disruption of services, because I think it's interesting that people talk about making sure we protect those who are in need, who are leaving incarceration, but when we're doing it without a disruption of services, I'm getting a letter saying, let's do a disruption of services. We don't want a disruption of services, and we're going to make the right decision that those who are coming home from incarceration, that I'm going to fight for, that we're going to make sure we don't have a disruption of services. And that is why we're taking action that we're doing, and when there's need to reevaluate a new contract, we're going to do that.
Do you support the current plan to build 10 skyscrapers in Manhattan to fund upgrades to Penn Station? And are there any changes your administration is seeking to the plan?
The plan to?
The plan to upgrade Penn Station and build 10 skyscrapers in the area.
We're still evaluating that. I think it's time to do something new in the Penn Station area. We're going to partner with the local elected official. The council members' opinion it means a lot to me when it comes down to developing in the areas. And we're going to speak with them and find out what their vision is, as well as the state lawmakers, the assembly. It's about a partnership. It's not about just not hearing from those local electeds.
Mayor Adams, like it or not, you're now in the middle of a political rivalry with Florida, with Governor DeSantis. I want you to speak to that broadly, but also now you're the face and the voice of New York values.
Well, first of all, I like rivalries with other states. I have traveled to Florida, and I'm trying to steal their companies. I'm going all over the country. And they've been doing it to us for a long time. They've been coming to New York, taking our businesses away. So listen, watch out. Eric is going to their countries. I'm buying my plane tickets, and New York is the place to be. And so specifically with the Don't Say Gay, he was wrong. period. And it was political posturing. He's aware that in their school system at that age, they don't do sex education. So why was the bill passed? What was the purpose of that? And so I believe whenever someone attempts to bully someone, that you need to stand up and protect them. That's what I did as a student, as a police officer, as a state senator, as a borough president, now as the mayor.
Mayor, you just said you value council member input. Recently, the Progressive Caucus of the council, which is a majority of the council, put out a letter on homeless encampment saying what you're doing is cruel, it's callous, it creates more harm for this population. Given that it's a majority of the council, how do you plan on working with this council when it is diametrically opposed to you in this instance?
Well, let's be clear here. The partnership is hearing the voices of those. Consult, not consent. We need to be clear on that. Let me tell you what's cruel. Cruel is having people live in cardboard boxes and tents, human waste, drug paraphernalia, no bathrooms, no showers, no place to put your clothing. That's cruel. And so I want to work with my council members, and I would like to see them with me at 2 in the morning when I'm on the train stations talking to people who are homeless. I want to see them at 4 a.m. when I'm going to encampment sites. It is easy to be in the sterilized environment of the council chambers and state we should leave people sleeping on the street. I want partners. Let's go out there together. Let's talk people into the shelters. Let's look at the brochures. Come with me at night when I go to shelters to inspect the conditions of shelters. I want those partners together. I am not going to leave New Yorkers living on the street. That's not happening. It's been too long. We've ignored it. We act like it didn't exist. That is not what my administration is about. We're going to place them in shelters, permanent housing, and we're going to demand, that's why Gary Jenkins is here, who lived in a shelter once. That's why he's here. That's why he's my commissioner. We're going to make sure those shelters are safe, clean, and transition people into permanent housing. There is nothing dignified one day of having someone live on the street. I'm not going to allow that to happen.
I think that's a good note, folks. So
Oh, no. Yeah, because if you don't, they're going to talk about me, you know. How you doing? Yes. Yes, you can. We'll do about 3 more, then we got to do this shovel.
All right, so my first question is about the now former city attorney who confronted you at your last press conference on Monday. 3 questions. Did you know she was a city attorney when she confronted you? What was your reaction to both the interaction you had with her and finding out she was a city attorney? And did you make the call to fire her?
Great questions. One, if anyone who was there at the press conference, when she spoke, it was clearly she was not a reporter, but what did I do? I said, allow her to speak. We started allowing her to speak. I'm not going to be disrespectful and not allow her to speak. She spoke. I didn't know who she was. You know, there's a group that's traveling around the city, banging on the doors of my health commissioner, even though his children are inside, yelling and screaming, threatening his life. There's a group that's running around the city who is the numerical minority, but they're allowed, so people believe that they are the majority. Got it. Did not know who she was, did not make the call to fire her. It doesn't bother me when people say names, call names at me. Listen, I'm an ex-cop. People have been calling me names for years. Doesn't bother me. But what she tweeted, sent out, it was inappropriate. And the law department made the decision and notified me prior to that press conference of their actions, and any questions you could find out from the law department. I had no interaction with that at all.
And my second question is on a report in the city.nyc this morning that you met with Mets owner Steve Cohen in January. I'm wondering if he pitched you on his casino in Willets Point, what you think of the idea of a casino in Willets Point, and whether his donations to your PAC influence your decision to meet with him.
None at all. And I don't go into private conversations, but I meet with everybody. I mean, that's my, I met with Hawk Newsom. I met with, I don't understand why people think a mayor shouldn't meet with everyone. I meet with everyone. I meet with you.
Casino at City Field, yes or no?
Listen, we're looking at all the proposals. We want the best for New York City. We want the economic development. Whatever happens in New York City, we think this is the best place, and we're examining all the proposals.
Thank you. We reported the other day that Assistant Deputy DOC Warden Wayne Price has been named as the commanding officer of the Rikers Island Health Management Division. That's the division that oversees the troubled sick leave system on the island. This is in spite of the fact that Mr. Price has himself been under investigation for allegedly violating the sick pay system. Were you aware of this appointment before it was made, and do you think it's appropriate for him to have that role given the allegations?
No, wasn't aware. Two, it's a temporary assignment. They posted to get someone to fill that assignment. And three, listen, I just love Commissioner Molina. Love him. This is the first inning of a 9-inning game, and during the inning, there's going to be a lot of things that's happening, but at the end of the game, we're going to win. The guy's the best guy for the job. First Latino to hold a position, sincere. He's there early in the morning. He's committed. He's dedicated. Rikers was a mess. The mess didn't start January 1st. It has been a mess for years. Molina is the right person. I just have the utmost faith in him. I just love the guy, and he's going to do an amazing job as a commissioner.
Price, though, even on a temporary assignment, is it appropriate for him to hold that role?
I think that Commissioner Molina made a decision, temporary, and whatever he decides, I support him 100% because he's going to get it right. He's going to fix Rikers.
Let's take some photos.
Poll out today that says 59% of New Yorkers think that their family would be better off if they permanently moved out of New York City. This is from Qantas Core, this poll out. What do you make of that? Your 100 days in is coming up this weekend to hear that 59% of the city would rather be somewhere else.
This is an Arnold Schwarzenegger moment. They'll be back.